need to ask you a question. Who are you, and who do you want to become? When I ask you who you are, you'd be amazed by how many people can't answer that question, because they never really sat down and dug deep enough under the surface to honestly answer it. They truly don't know who they are. But if you don't know who you are, how can you even attempt to answer the question, who do you want to become? To know who you really want to become, you got to know who you are right now. I ask you these questions with urgency, because the fact is, tomorrow isn't promised. There's a lot of people that'll go to sleep tonight looking forward to a tomorrow, and tomorrow will never come. Time doesn't owe us anything, but we owe it to ourselves to analyze how we spend our time. We can't add years to our lives, but we can add life to our years. Take the time right now to understand who you are. When you can establish who you truly are right now, then and only then can you understand who you want to become. And who you want to become doesn't mean who anyone else wants you to become.
Many of you are having a hard time with life. Some of you rarely experience good times. Some of you are doing okay, as you say, but want to go to the next level. But none of you are going to reach the next level unless you are committed every day to be better than yesterday. If you are not committed to be better today than you were yesterday, that must mean you are happy with average. And I know none of you are happy with average. Average is not for you, and average will not be you. You might be at a great level, but you must understand there is always another level.
Will you stay the same or will you elevate? Will you lay down in misery or will you rise? Don't let your dreams stay on this earth abandoned. But the only way you can reach those dreams is if you're willing to go into darkness. If you're willing to take that pain, if you're willing to elevate, to grow, to become the best version of yourself. If you feed your mind with positive thoughts, this will allow the happiness to pour into your heart. It will give you the strength to stretch. It will give you the courage to change for the better.
You were put here on purpose and for a purpose, and that is what makes you unique. There's over 7.8 billion people on this earth, and not one other is you. If you're listening to this right now, I know you're a dreamer. But the funny thing about dreamers is 99% of people who have a dream go back to sleep with it. I need you to become a part of the 1% of people in this world who will become a daydreamer. The 1%ers that grind day in and day out to manifest their dreams. Dreams are planted in your mind every day, but it's up to you to capture them.
You can't expect to do the same thing at the same intensity week in, week out, and expect improved results. The world doesn't work like that. You give more and you get more. You must understand that despite perceived limitations, if you push yourself, you can always raise the bar in your life. You have to always raise the bar. First you set the standard, then you raise the bar. Don't you dare quit. Don't you dare settle. Don't you dare back down. Not today or any other day. When the tough moments come, never forget. You are in that moment writing your legacy. In that tough moment, you are setting the standard for your character. Do you have the character? You do. Never quit. Make up in your mind that whatever you have to go through, you will look at it positive. You will not let it get you down. You will turn this situation around.
Stop wasting valuable time knowing that if we begin to live our lives as if each day were our last, our lives will take on a whole new meaning.
We are champions, and champions don't start with winning the national title. Champions start right there.
One thing I know about life is a guarantee. Change is inevitable. As much as you like to be in your comfort zone, as much as you like to be stable, as much as you like to control your environment, the reality is everything changes. If you're doing real good, at some point, something bad's going to happen in your life.
You can either be a pathetic monster or you can be a monster with some power. Those are your options. There's no non-monster alternative. Weak or strong. And I don't mean strong like dominating tyrant strength. That isn't what I mean at all. I mean strength like functioning at a funeral strength. And that's a kind of monstrosity. But when I tell you to get your life together, I'm not going to say roses and sunshine. It's like that's pablum for fools. But it really is something to be the reliable person at a funeral, right? And you can aim at that. You can do that. You got to be tough to do that because it also means that you can sustain a major loss without collapsing. And that you've got to be a monster to do that. When you go down, you see, when you're down in chaos and you don't know what the hell's going on, you have to rediscover the values that have oriented people forever. That's what you have to discover. So for example, when I'm dealing with people who have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they've usually encountered someone malevolent, they have to relearn the description of good and evil. Because if they don't, they have no framework. They're lost. They think, well, there's malevolence afoot in the world. Because the only thing that a monster won't mess with is another monster. And you might say, well, I don't want to transform myself into a monster. It's like, you don't have a choice. And when you're down in chaos, that's what you have to rediscover. You want to be safe? Forget that. That's not in the cards. You're not going to be safe. Well, then you have to be meta-safe. And that's way better, because then you're not safe, but you know how to cope with danger. Well, fine. That solves the problem. And maybe it's even a better solution, because if you're safe, then you just have to stay in your burrow. But if you can confront danger, then you could go wherever you want and you can have an adventure. And maybe that's what you need to do, is to go out and have an adventure. So you don't even want safety, because how exciting is that? Let's say we made you perfectly safe. All that you had to do was eat cakes and worry yourself with the continuation of the species. Well, what would you do? You'd smash it all down as soon as you possibly could, just so you had something interesting and challenging to do. So you don't want safety. You want to be able to cope with danger. That's a whole different thing. You don't get to be safe ever again. Well, so what happens? You get to be stronger. Well, hey, turns out that's a better bargain anyways. I called the course Personality and Its Transformations, and I think you could think about that as a restatement of the idea of being and becoming. And that's what you are. You're, whatever that means, you're an entity that both is and is transforming. And there's a rule that goes along with that, which is don't sacrifice who you could be for who you are. Which means if you have to choose to transform in a positive direction or maintain your current position, then it's better to transform in a positive direction. Who are you? You're the thing that transforms who you are. But on top of that, you're the thing that transforms who you are. You are the thing that is, and you're the thing that becomes. All you have to do is ask yourself. You'll come up with a list instantly of 100 stupid things that you're doing that you know you could stop doing. Some of them maybe you don't know you could stop doing. It's like, well, fine, leave those alone for now. But there's a bunch of things you perfectly know well that you could stop doing that would improve your life. Everything that makes you anxious or everything that makes you upset is the same as every other thing that's ever made you upset. All those things that have made you upset you've never dealt with. They're all laying down there at the bottom of your nasty little soul, waiting to pop themselves up in some random utterance, right? And so then you go in there at your peril, because if you're the person who pokes around in that, then you're going to get blasted with all of that stuff. It's going to come out like almost uncontrollably. Then sort it out.